Tonight, trying to get back on track after an anti-tariff ad derails trade talks. The response to the extra 10% tariff.
To have every sector, every province, every premier kind of weighing in on this, I don't see that behavior in the United States.
And why some are calling for a united front between sectors. Travel turbulence.
It's stressful. Everything's stressful.
From facial ID to flight delays, what you need to know about changes that could impact an upcoming trip. Plus, the push to repair, not replace.
It can give people an opportunity to see it done, and then maybe next time they might try it.
How this Fix-It fair is reducing waste and restoring items one busted piece at a time.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good evening. We are hearing tonight from the Prime Minister for the first time since President Donald Trump dropped a bombshell announcement en route to a summit in Malaysia, increasing existing tariffs on Canada by 10%. CTV's Judy Trin is with Mark Carney and has more on his response and what Canada's Business Council is saying about the tactics at play in this trade war.
Prime Minister, do you have plans to get talks back on track?
Looking forward to these discussions.
Initially, the Prime Minister dodged questions about Donald Trump's latest attack on Canada's trade negotiations.
Well, Canada lied. I mean, what they did was terrible. They made up a fake statement by President Reagan.
While still on Air Force One, Trump posted on social media he was increasing tariffs on Canada 10% over and above what they are. He was angry about the anti-tariff ad with former President Ronald Reagan.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
Angry that it was broadcast during the World Series instead of being pulled immediately. But the Business Council of Canada is concerned about the lack of teamwork.
In a trade war like this, we've got to put Team Canada forward. And to have every sector, every province, every premier kind of weighing in on this, I don't see that behavior in the United States.
On the ground, Carney stuck to his schedule. He had face-to-face meetings with the leaders of Laos, the Philippines, and Vietnam, and he pitched how Canada would double non-U.S. exports in the next decade.
That's more than $300 billion in new trade, much of which we hope will be with this group.
At the last event of the day in front of corporate leaders, Carney took a jab at the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, it's enormous food. I'm just warming up for my American level of boasting.
Then finally, 12 hours after Trump dropped his tariff bombshell, Carney faced the media armed with a familiar refrain.
The government of Canada stands ready to build on the progress that we had been making in our negotiations, our discussions with our American counterparts. It is the sole responsibility of the government of Canada to have those discussions.
Donald Trump did show up at ASEAN to oversee the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia. He did not cross paths with Carney, who had left the venue for another event. Judy Trin, CTV News, Kuala Lumpur.
Canada's auto sector is facing what some experts say is an existential threat thanks to Donald Trump's trade war. The number of cars produced in Canada has already dropped by more than 50% in the last 2 decades. CTV's Colton Prale breaks that down for us.
We don't want your cars, in all due respect. They're losing a lot of companies in Canada. He wants to make cars, we want to make cars, and we're in competition.
Donald Trump has been very clear. Vehicle manufacturing in Canada needs to come second to American production. Now, this Canadian business leader says Canada needs to consider cutting its losses.
There are a lot of jobs at stake in the auto industry. They're not coming after our parts sector, they're coming after our cars.
Canada's auto sector took a pair of heavy hits in October. Tuesday, General Motors announced it's ending production of its electric parcel van at the plant in Ingersoll, Ontario. The move came days after Stellantis announced planned production of the Jeep Compass in Brampton would happen in Illinois instead.
Making the vehicles is, pound for pound, about twice as valuable as making most parts.
Experts call Trump's policies an existential threat to the industry, but warn they'll take time to come into full effect.
Putting up a new automotive assembly plant can cost anywhere from $5 to $6 billion and take anywhere from 7 to 8 years.
Meanwhile, American auto giants announced massive windfalls this week after new White House subsidies for U.S.-produced vehicles.
The changes in policy, the proclamation that happened last Friday, gave us $1 billion of benefit.
Detroit's big three automakers make up 20% of the roughly 700,000 light vehicles made in Canada in the first half of 2025. This week, Ottawa punished GM and Stellantis for decreased Canadian production by lowering the number of vehicles they can import into the country tariff-free. This former auto exec says those measures should instead focus on boosting Canadian production from non-American automakers.
I think as we move forward and look at, what's the industry of the future, you want to put as many incentives in place that don't cost taxpayers money.
Meanwhile, Ford says it still plans to build new Super Duty pickups at its Oakville plant in 2026, even after Donald Trump announced new tariffs on trucks. Heather.
CTV's Colton Prale in the nation's capital. Another issue hanging over the heads of Canadians is affordable housing. CTV's Jeremy Sharon shows us just what kind of sacrifices many are making to chase the dream of homeownership.
For most Canadians, it is a top priority. But buying a home for many can feel like an insurmountable challenge.
I think that I would definitely not expect to be buying a home in my late 20s, right? That's the thing that I'm mostly coming to grips with.
New numbers from Abacus data show homeownership is still a goal for most.
It's something that's still very important to Canadians, especially young Canadians and young families.
But to achieve that, Canadians are making great sacrifices. 2 in 5 cut back on spending, more than a quarter have downsized expectations, and 1 in 5 have delayed major life milestones.
It's beyond a housing issue. It's becoming a lifestyle challenge for a lot of people, and delaying starting a family, delaying getting married, delaying going to school and furthering their education. So there's a lot of things in which people are putting things on the back burner with that desire to own a home.
Many are willing to compromise too. Almost half of Canadians would buy a smaller home than they envisioned. 1 in 3 would co-buy with family or friends. A third would also buy an older home needing work. And 1 in 4 would take a longer commute.
It's not so much a forever home situation that you're looking for anymore. It's more so stepping stones.
There's this big gap between what people are earning, what they're consuming otherwise, and what housing costs.
The Carney government has pledged to double the pace of housing construction in the country to 500,000 homes a year in the next decade. But this industry expert says that's only addressing part of the problem.
Yes, we need to build more homes, and that's important, but we also need to regulate in order to ensure that the prices that these homes are more accessible to more people.
Now, experts point to a, quote, missing middle. There are smaller condo-style spaces at an entry-level price or larger detached homes at a price many can't afford, but not enough in the middle. Heather?
Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa, thank you. Saturday night didn't play out the way Blue Jays fans had hoped, but they're still keeping the World Series dream alive.
I can't wait till we win a World Series. Life is great. Let's go Jays.
Plenty of support for the Jays despite the Game 2 loss. The team taking it in stride as they gear up for Game 3 tomorrow in LA.
We're trying to approach this as, 7, if it gets to that point, 7 one-game series. So at this point, it's going to be all hands on deck.
Dodger Stadium, where the Jays will be playing, has become a focal point for political tension. U.S. immigration officers have been accused of trying to enter the stadium to make arrests. CTV's Adrian Gobriel is in Los Angeles with a look at the fear those raids are generating.
A blue sky paints a picturesque backdrop above Dodger Stadium, though a cloud of controversy has hung over the greater Los Angeles area for months. Members of LA's Latin American community say they're being targeted by immigration and customs enforcement ICE agents.
You're no longer a person. You're a goddamn devil.
In June, the Dodgers confirmed that ICE officers tried to access the parking lot of their historic ballpark before being turned away. U.S. Homeland Security has denied the claim. Though there's no denying the brazen use of force in America's second most populous city. From Home Depots
This is Downey Memorial Christian Church
to church parking lots, U.S. President Donald Trump has maintained that American cities are being terrorized.
We will not allow an American city to be invaded and conquered by a foreign enemy.
Here in East LA, multiple ICE raids have taken place in recent months. More than 100,000 Latinos call this community home. Those we've spoken with say they're living under daily fears of being detained.
Either start beating you up or pushing you to the ground.
Alejandro Aceves is an American citizen. His wife just received her approval letter from U.S. Immigration, though she's still hiding from federal agents.
She's had to lock the doors at work when ICE have been in the neighborhood.
Yes, just wait and see what happens next.
If they are legal or in the process of getting their paperwork, why are you singling them out?
David Ivikovic, the chairman of Canadians Abroad in Southern California, admits fear has also spread throughout the expat community.
All of a sudden people are scared about, their social media presence and getting checked at the border. And
people are living in fear.
There is a fear that we've never experienced before.
It's a tension that stretches from the Valley to East LA and beyond.
You could only do so much. Pray, I guess, because sometimes not even that helps.
There's a sentiment, even a hope among those we've spoken with, that this World Series, whether in Toronto or here at Dodger Stadium, can be a catalyst to bring people together instead of driving them apart. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Los Angeles.
Canadians will soon have to be photographed when entering and exiting the U.S., according to new rules from the Department of Homeland Security. The new condition will apply to travelers no matter how they cross, whether it's by land, air, or through a port. It's part of a move to collect biometric data introduced several years ago. No word yet on when this would be rolled out. This latest change comes in the wake of a new rule requiring Canadians visiting America for more than a month to register with the U.S. government. It came into effect last spring, but as CTV's Alison Bamford reports, snowbirds now heading south are feeling the impact for the first time.
Every fall, Brian Rose drives south to escape Canada's winters. He's spending 6 months in Florida like he has for the last 22 years.
U.S. Customs has always been good to us. It's a couple of quick questions, couple quick answers.
But this year, the snowbird was prepared for a lengthier process. He filled out documents ahead of time, wanting to comply with new rules issued this spring. The Alien Registration Act requires Canadians to register if they enter the U.S. by land and plan to stay for 30 days or longer.
We got to the border here 2 days ago, and the guy says, all you need is a passport.
We've been hearing about a lot of inconsistencies.
Depending on the border officer and crossing, experts say some snowbirds might have to register at the port of entry, which could require their fingerprints, photograph, and a $30 fee. If they aren't asked to do that, travelers will have 30 days to register with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services.
There's no cost to do it. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes to register online. You don't have to be fingerprinted. You don't have any biometrics. You get a receipt and you carry that with you when you're in the U.S.
One U.S. immigration lawyer says getting fingerprinted at the border has always been a possibility, but it's rare, and snowbirds should still plan to cross the border as they normally would.
Treat crossing the border almost like a job interview. You're going to be respectful, you're going to be prepared, you're going to say please, you're going to say thank you, and you're going to make it easy for that officer.
Snowbird advisory groups say they haven't heard of anyone being refused entry as a result of the new process, and with time, they're hopeful that consistency will improve at the border. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Snowbirds or anyone else flying to the U.S. and even across Canada should expect delays in the coming days. CTV's Heather Wright explains why.
As the U.S. government shutdown enters its 4th week, travelers here in Canada are bracing for impact.
It's stressful. Everything's stressful.
Roughly 13,000 air traffic controllers and about 50,000 Transportation Security Administration officers are working without pay during the government shutdown. Staffing shortages are 4 times higher than usual, and delays are expected to get even worse this week, with more controllers choosing to stay home rather than work for free. That not only means delays for Canadians traveling to the States, but also for domestic flights. Because the North American airspace is so integrated, planes often cross the border during flights.
If they have a shortage in the northern perimeters, that would in fact impact on the routing, the timing, and departure time of some of our Canadian operations.
Both the United States and Canada have been dealing with a shortage of air traffic controllers. Winnipeg and Kelowna airports have had to briefly close this year due to staffing, typically when the one controller on duty goes on a break. In a statement, NAV Canada, which manages the country's air navigation system, said the closures were precautionary measures taken under our fatigue risk management system to ensure safe operations and protect the well-being of our employees, while noting the closures are generally limited and brief, and that the Winnipeg closure lasted no longer than 30 minutes. But with the busy holiday season approaching, travel could get even bumpier.
We fear there will be significant flight delays, disruptions, and cancellations in major airports across the country this holiday season.
It was air travel that helped end the 35-day government shutdown back in 2019 when 10 air traffic controllers stayed home, snarling air travel and leading to a public outcry. Delays are expected to get worse this week, though it's not clear if it will be enough to get the U.S. government reopened. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Hurricane Melissa rapidly strengthened to a Category 4 storm barreling through the Caribbean.
It now seems virtually certain that the core of a powerful hurricane is going to move over Jamaica on a Tuesday.
Satellite images show the eye of Melissa near Cuba with winds reaching 220 kilometers per hour. Jamaica is bracing for impact with fears the storm could strengthen by the time it hits, causing flash flooding, storm surges, and landslides. Coming up, trying to turn up the heat on Canada's wildfire fight.
Our wildfire system was built for a different era.
The changes one group is demanding from Ottawa to better protect Canadians. Plus, cracking the case, what led police to the suspects wanted in the brazen Louvre heist. A group of wildfire evacuees and firefighters visited Ottawa this week to press the government to do more to prevent and fight wildfires. CTV's Andrew Johnson has more on the changes they're demanding.
2.5 years after she barely escaped a wildfire that tore through a Halifax suburb, what Jenny Saulnier calls a living nightmare is permanently burned into her memory.
My house alarm sent me notifications. Window break detected. Directly following smoke detected and fire detected. This was not even 5 minutes after narrowly escaping from my driveway.
Close to a decade ago, author Teresa Greenwood lived through a similar devastating experience in Fort McMurray, Alberta.
The evacuation alerts start earlier every year. In Fort McMurray, we pack go bags, we check our insurance policies, and we pray for rain.
Greenwood and Saulnier, alongside firefighters, emergency officials, and fire survivors, are in Ottawa to meet with federal officials and advocate for stronger wildfire response and prevention.
Our wildfire system was built for a different era. The system and the people that hold it together are being pushed to their limits.
The group is calling for the federal government to double wildfire training and equipment funding, provide year-round leadership coordinating provinces, territories, and First Nations, and investments in clean energy.
Canadians deserve better. No one should have to experience what my family and thousands of others have endured. We need to act to protect our communities now and to tackle the root causes of these supercharged wildfires.
It's a message delivered at the tail end of the second worst wildfire season on record. 90,000 square kilometers of Canada has burned in 2025. That's more than the size of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island combined. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead tonight, how these free fixes are part of a national movement to make repairs easier. Two suspects have now been arrested in connection with the brazen daylight jewelry heist at the Louvre. Two men in their 30s are in custody. One suspect arrested in a Paris suburb. The other was nabbed as he was about to board a flight to Algeria. Gloves, a jacket, and DNA samples were reportedly found at the scene of the crime, leading to the arrests. Thieves broke into the Louvre last week using a crane and stole 8 pieces of French royal jewels worth an estimated $102 million. A warning about our next story. It contains images some viewers may find disturbing. It involves the dramatic rescue of a baby trapped under an overturned car, captured on police body cam.
Under here. We need to move the car.
The heart-stopping rescue in Fort Worth, Texas, caught on video as officers and bystanders jumped into action to free the baby trapped beneath the car along with its mother. You can see the child being pulled out, officers immediately performing CPR until the child finally takes a breath and starts to cry.
Yes, cry. Yes. Yes.
And both mom and baby are expected to make a full recovery. Still ahead, the power of choice. Why Ottawa is pushing for the freedom to make repairs more convenient for you. Every year, Canadians spend billions of dollars on repairs and maintenance services. But in PEI today, volunteers offered some of those fixes for free, restoring items like small appliances. CTV's Maria Saru on how this event rolls into a national movement to repair, not replace.
On the long list for fixers, socks with loose seams, dull knives that need sharpening, and one blender with a broken motor.
I just feel sad to throw it away if it's fixable.
A mechanic told Lingya Ma a service would cost more than a new machine. But at Charlottetown's free Fix-It fair, the goal is simple: repair, not replace. Vivian Zhou came for that reason.
One hand, I can save money. The other hand, that I can save the resource.
Not every problem can be solved, but this is one last try before the landfill.
We've been having a lot of electronic waste and piles of it going in the garbage. So this was a great opportunity.
This event is part of a national push to expand what's called the right to repair. Advocates say some manufacturers make it harder for people to fix their own items through design choices or restricting access to parts, manuals, or diagnostic tools. For example, some products are hard to open, need codes only the company can access, or use components that don't stand the test of time.
Even technology which can run longer than its expectation has software issues that will shut it down or prohibit its effectiveness.
Volunteer fixers offered hands-on help and how-tos.
It can give people an opportunity to see it done, and then maybe next time they might try it.
The hope is more sessions, more skills sharing, and more items with longer lives. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Repair, not replace. That is our newscast for this Sunday night. I'm Heather Butts. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Omar and Sandy will be here tomorrow. Good night.